This is the Less Insurance Dependence podcast show with my good friend Gary Takacs and myself, Naren Arulrajah.
We appreciate your listenership, your time, and most of all, we appreciate your intention to reduce insurance dependence in your practice. Our goal is to provide information that will help you successfully reduce insurance dependence and convert your practice into a thriving and profitable dental practice that provides you with personal, professional, and financial satisfaction.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Less Insurance Dependence podcast, the official podcast of the Reducing Insurance Dependence Academy, www.rid.academy. Membership to the Academy is a gift from Gary and I in appreciation for your listenership. Visit rid.academy and don't forget to register. By registering, you will have access to all of our resources and a free pass to all of our events, including our annual summit. I am Naren, your co-host. Today's podcast is titled, Are You Noticing More Insurance Claims Being Denied? This is a really interesting question, Gary. We have been hearing from a lot of our clients about this question, and I guess because they are feeling it. And I just wanted your opinion. You interact with, dozens and dozens of practice owners, and of course, you know what's going on in the industry. Is this a trend that you're also noticing, Gary?
Yeah, sadly, the answer to that question is yes. We're really seeing the number of claims being denied escalate radically. And there can be lots of reasons for that. But yes, we're not. And if I take it to a broader discussion, we are noticing not just denials, more requests for additional information, more paperwork related to processing claims. And I think all of it is quite intentional on the part of the insurance company to reduce the utilization of the benefits by patients who have the insurance. So they love to deny claims, right? And sometimes the denials are very straightforward. Patient was interested in having cosmetic dentistry covered. Well, there could be a clause in the contract that says cosmetic dentistry is not covered, denied. So there's some straightforward denials, but I'm seeing more marginal denials these days. And I have a suspicion. However, I do want to say that it is, at this point, it's an opinion. I don't know this, but I think maybe it's insurance companies using AI maliciously to give them justifications to deny more claims. Think about how the business works. How does insurance? Let's cover business dental insurance 101. Naren, you know how a dental insurance company makes money? They take premiums and they don't pay claims.
Right.
Period. The end.
Right.
Now you have a PhD in dental insurance economics. Charge premiums to people, and then you don't pay claims. So why in the world would they have the 6-month wait for the hygiene appointment? You can't, if you come in 5 months and 29 days after the last hygiene appointment, if the contract has, the policy has a 6-month wait clause, then that claim is going to be denied. It makes no sense. Why don't they just say 2 a year, 2 in a calendar year? Doesn't matter when they're done. Because they know that they'll get more denials by that 5-month wait, 5-month and 29-day wait. So it's all geared in their favor. And so, in what I think is, frankly, an effort to enhance the value of the insurance company, the value of the stock, the amount of money that the executives are making, the shareholders are making, they're doing everything they can to not pay you. And part of that is having a higher number of denials, of claims denials. And we're seeing it. We're absolutely seeing it. Now, I think it's resulting in, it's curious to see what the long game is going to be on this. Because ultimately, Naren, if you think about the 4 entities that are involved in dental insurance, we got the dental insurance company that wrote the policy, got the dentist that provides the care, got the patient that receives the care, and you've got the employer that bought the policy. Of those entities, who does the dental insurance company care about? Do they care about any of those entities besides themselves?
No.
Nope. They absolutely do. You're wrong. They care about the employer
Oh, okay.
because the employer
I
bought the
mean, they
policy.
don't care about the employer, but they're kind of giving lip service to the employer just by saying,
Well, they do
oh,
care
we'll do
about the
whatever you
employer.
want.
The employer is their customer. They care
Right.
about it.
Who
So
write the
Delta
checks.
cares about the employer that bought the policy.
Right.
They absolutely do care about the employer because they're the customer. You're not the customer, doctor.
Right. Neither
Nor
is the
the patient
patient.
the customer.
Yeah.
Patient is just an intermediary. But what they do care about the employer because they make their money on the premiums.
Yeah.
And the employer typically wants lower premiums.
Mm-hmm.
Can the insurance company provide them lower premiums?
Well, they can provide it if they, squeeze you and, deny claims and,
Sure.
not.
They can provide lower premiums by covering sparser coverage,
Yeah.
having less things covered. Um, I wish they would look at it a little bit more broadly, the insurance company, and say, we've got three constituents we have to keep happy. We have to keep the dentist happy because they're our providers. We have no providers, we can't sell policies.
Right.
We want to keep the patients happy because they're the ones receiving the care. And of course, we've got to keep the employers happy because they're the ones that buy the policy. And somehow we have to find, some equal ground to find, some way to balance the three needs. But they don't look at it that way. They look at it as simply the employer. And sure, they can. If an employer says, "Hey, we had a tough year last year. I'm interested in renewing our insurance, but I need lower premiums," and the insurance company will write a policy that will provide exclude a bunch of things, and then they keep their customer, the employer, but dentist ends up losing, patient ends up losing. The answer to all of this is to reduce your insurance dependence. If you want to quit getting entangled in that game, reduce your insurance dependence. Notice I said reduce insurance dependence. I didn't say go fee for service. And that's
Right.
intentional because you do not have to go fee for service to get benefits. Every time you successfully resign from a PPO plan, then you are making an improvement in your practice. But if your goal is to go all the way to fee for service, then I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader because that's the way to get the most benefits out of it. But you don't have to go all the way. Every time you resign from a PPO plan successfully, you're improving your practice. And so some of you are thinking, well, wait a minute, isn't that a dangerous path to go down? Because isn't the only way to attract people is to accept their insurance? No. There's a universe of people the insurance companies don't want you to know about. There's a universe of people that don't have dental insurance. How about going and find them? Then they're not going to ask you, is this covered by my insurance? That's not a question that makes sense if you don't have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go find some of them. But I really think the recipe here is to reduce your insurance dependence. Patients are still going to ask, is this covered by my insurance? When we let them know, most dental insurance policies, way more than 99%, it's 99 point something percent, allow patients to go out of network and they'll still pay benefits. They're called open panel plans. Closed panel plans are those that you're required to go to an in-network provider. The most common dental closed panel plan is Medicaid. In order for a Medicaid patient, they have to get paid, to get benefits, they have to go to a Medicaid office. But all the other insurances, almost all of them, are open panel, and the patient can come to your office. Once we let our patients know, you can choose our office for your care. Whatever benefits you have, let's use Delta. Whatever Delta benefits you have, you can use them right here in our practice. We'll file your claims for you, and we're on your side to help you get every benefit. Once they realize that, most patients, if you're relationship driven and you're giving people great reasons to come to your office, want to come to your practice. They'll want to come there. You're very friendly with this process. You may lose some when you go out of network if they're absolutely, one-minded about only going to a dentist that's in network. But if you're providing all this great benefits and they understand those, they benefit from them, they're likely to be a patient of yours. They're likely to stay in your office. So I really think the trend that we're seeing is only going to accelerate. The trend meaning more claims denied is only going to accelerate and create more admin on your side. And admin means more expense on your part. And yet, ironically, the one thing we are seeing absolutely across, not across the board, but we're seeing more of it, is your fees not going up with PPO plans, maybe as a reflection of your increased cost of doing business, your increased wage costs for your team members, the increased adoption of technology, because this technology is fantastic. We're seeing PPO fee schedules going down.
Right.
And if it's going down, you're going backwards in this. I think insurance companies are testing the waters. I think they're testing the waters, see how far they can push you. You see
It's
how
like
many
the
claims
frog
they
in the
can.
boiling pot.
Yeah,
You
you're
keep
the frog
boiling
in
it
the boiling.
slightly more every month.
You know, that frog analogy, well, remember that frog in the boiling pot analogy
Yeah.
is a good one. You know, if you have a pot of boiling water and you drop a frog in there, don't do that, by the way, that would be animal cruelty. But if you did that, the frog would instantly jump back up out of the water, right? However,
Yeah.
if you have lukewarm water in the pot, put the frog in there and you turn the heat up on the burner, it will boil itself to death.
Right.
And that's you, doctor. You are the frog in the lukewarm water. That's you. And you, if you're a PPO provider, and you're going to get boiled in the pot. I think they're turning up the heat by increasing the denials, lowering your claims. And we can see the outcome of that. The outcome is you're going to get boiled to death. Already, if you know cost accounting and you know how to calculate cost accounting, which I do, you'll discover that what you do in your practice, you lose money. It actually it could cost you money to provide hygiene appointments in your practice in many parts of the country today as a PPO provider. Why is that, Naren? Why would it cost you money to provide hygiene appointments in many parts of the country? What would be the reason why?
The reason it'll cost you money is because you get paid less than what you paid in wages. So
Your
in other
wages have
words,
gone through the roof.
yeah,
Every part of the country in
yeah,
hygiene. And you've had to raise your wages to keep driving. So they can just, the hygienist can find a job today in about a 10-minute job search.
yeah,
And you've had to raise your wages. And we're not talking about minor increases here, Aaron. We're talking significant increases.
right,
And you had to do that to remain competitive as an employer. And yet, if you did the cost accounting, you'd discover that every time you see a hygiene patient, you're actually losing money. What
yeah.
kind of a business model is that? It's not.
So you're working hard to lose money. That's not a business model. That's like a loss model.
Yeah, it's a model that makes no economic sense to you.
Yeah,
Um, so I do believe what we're seeing is the proverbial tip of the iceberg with what we're seeing in more claims denials. But I think we're going to see other measures because you think the insurance company is going to say, well, we're going to make improvements to our company and we'll lower our profit next year. Do you think there's any discussions like that going around in corporate boardrooms for insurance companies saying we'll lower our profit margins next year? You think they want to talk about that?
no,
No. What do they want to talk about? Raising the margin.
right.
And remember how they do that? They take in premiums, they don't pay claims.
Yeah, and that means deny claims and pay you
Now,
less and less.
there's more things. They can exclude benefits. They can exclude things not covered. There's all kinds
Yeah.
of things they can do that I don't think we've seen the full brunt of it yet, but we're about to. And what's the alternative? The alternative is to reduce your insurance dependence, successfully resign from PPO plans. You don't have to go all the way. I would encourage you to join the grassroots movement of dentists doing this all over the country that are just washing their hands of it and saying enough. This is not something that makes sense moving forward. Can every practice do this? No. No. If you have a run-of-the-mill dental practice that is no different than the corporate office down the street, then don't do this. Because they could just leave your office and go right down the street and get the same thing they're getting at your office. The biggest insult that I feel that the dental insurance companies are guilty of is they are trying to commoditize dentistry. They're trying to commoditize dentistry. What do I mean by that? In the insurance company's eyes, a crown's a crown's a crown. Think about that. If you're a member of XYZ insurance company, they pay the same crown fee to all of you. Is the product the same?
No.
Not even close. Not even close. And yet they're commoditizing it by setting your fees. How do you avoid that? You set your own fees.
Right.
Set your own fees. Well, I want you to think about that frog in the boiling water, or frog in the pot on the stove with that heat turned up, because the heat's getting turned up right now. And where do you want to, where do you want to go with this? And I hope your decision is to reduce your insurance dependence. Hey, if you'd like some help with that, would love to help you. Get a good marketing plan to attract people that don't have insurance. Equa can help you with that. Thriving Dentist can help you successfully resign from PPO plans. And you put the two together, you have a very different practice by making a shift in your practice. And we can do this over time to minimize the loss of patients. And all of a sudden, the best way to control your profitability is for you to control your own fees. And you simply don't do that as a participating provider. If you want to take action, I'd like to suggest make 2025 the year you take action. You want to take action, simple things you can do that don't cost anything. Set up a marketing strategy meeting with Equa. What's the URL for that?
It's equa.com/MSM. ekwa.com/MSM.
And while you're at it, set up a coaching strategy with me. Just go to thrivingdentist.com/CSM and be taking some action to be really gaining your independence and controlling the financial future of your practice. And also the quality of life in your practice for you and your patients and your team. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this Less Insurance Dependence episode. Hopefully give you some things to think about. The answer to the question is, are we seeing more denials from insurance companies? The answer is yes, sadly. I wish I could report differently. Hey, thanks for joining us. We look forward to connecting with you on the next Less Insurance Dependence podcast.